Benjamins, and I'ma get rich or die trying, cause I gotta get it.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Bows on the Table podcast. I am Chef Earl Pearl at DB Chef TV, always joined by my brother Maydae51 at Instagram. That's right. Run it back. We got some new joints for the new year because I'm like, we gotta come out with the boom bam for the new year, and then we'll just get into the balance of the shit, right?
Right. What's up, baby? What's up?
How was your holiday?
Holiday was good. Brought in the new year. Got some little break from work, little rest time, recharge.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's amazing. What we got for today? I think we got some good topics that we're gonna get into today, right?
Yeah, we got some good topics. This is gonna be pretty straightforward. We wanted to talk about building a financial foundation, which we're gonna bring up 3 points. Basically, you're gonna look at your budget, your cash flow, you bring it in, and spending habits and things of that nature. And then we'll talk about your savings account and what you got to do that. And then another step would be like your emergency funds and what that would look like. So we'll look at that, and then of course eliminating debt would be your last final step.
Okay, and these is for a financial foundation.
Yeah, because we was never taught. Well, I was never taught, and probably plenty of people were never taught like how to have healthy finances or finance management practices, and we didn't know
Facts.
any of that right there. So we was
Yeah.
just getting our little check and going to spend it as soon as we can get that cash in our hand. And never knew what to do.
What? That's not what you're supposed to do with it? Spend it soon as you get it?
Ah, man, you're not
Like it's
supposed to
only
spend as soon as
5
you get it.
minutes. Soon as
So
you get it, before you get it.
yeah, already thinking ahead. As soon as I get that
Right.
check, I'm gonna go, get this or get that. So
Like before we get into this, um, I would like everybody to know, one, we are not financial advisors. Um, these are just things that we take from our own personal experiences, and if you can utilize something, apply it and see if it's good for you. We always uh, recommend that you seek professional uh, help when it comes to, and expertise when it comes to managing your investing investment management of your personal finances. Um, but yeah, that's what we got. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get into these how to build uh, your financial foundation. That's what we're gonna go ahead and get into. And Mayday, if you got the first thing, you know what? I'm gonna add something else, but go ahead and pull that up too. Um, one of these things, like we pull this stuff from, and shout out to Mayday, he does an excellent job going to go get this content and coming up with these all of these prompts and these key points that we talk about. Um, One of the steps that they don't have listed here, I want to share with people, is discipline. Okay.
mhm.
And no matter how much we share with you this information, seeing it and then like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I see it, but I'm too busy to actually apply it. I'm too busy to actually try to do, but then I'm complaining about my finances though. I'm complaining about not having no money, about what somebody else need to do more of instead of what I haven't even tried to do for myself yet.
Gonna talk about these steps, and as you can see here, we're getting this information today from several different sources. This first source is gonna be Credit Karma to get the 3 steps to build a solid financial foundation. So As you can see, we got How to Build a Solid Foundation by Credit Karma. Step number 1, understanding your cash flow and build a budget that works. Well, I would say works for you. Build a budget that works for you in your situation based on the cash flow and the resources that you have. The second will be eliminating debt that drags down your financial health. So you want to, as in episode 1, we talked about that credit. So it's coming back to us where you got to manage that credit at all times to make sure you're in good financial health and standings. And then 3, take your savings to the next level with the right investment. So, you're going to look at your savings and how you save. And then, some things that you can invest in that can also create savings. Because if you just had a savings account, most savings account, return on investment is less than 1% normally, or 1% or 1.25 or something like that. So you want to establish savings when you that can create investments that will give you a greater return, so that you can put more money back for emergencies or whatever. So I know growing up, I never had a budget. I never was one of those kids. My mama gave me some money, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna save this for that or do this for that." It was like I was the one that I was a spender. When my mom gave me some money, I went right to what we called the storehouse at that time. It was a family neighborhood corner store,
Right.
and get them pink cookies, that hot sausage, and that soda. I was ready to go get that. But as I get older and you start learning about these things, understanding your cash flow and your budget, you want to look into that.
Yeah, that cash flow and budget thing is super important. Like, that's the first thing that so many people live beyond their means and they don't understand why. And it's because you don't understand how much your cash flow is.
You definitely want to look at your budget in its totality. That's what Chef was coming in when you might be owning your own business. You might have passive income coming from real estate investment that you have going on. You might actually work for a company that brings you a check every 2 weeks that you work for. And then you want to calculate every dollar that is coming into your as a resource for you. And then you want to know what pockets to put that in based on your needs, and your wants and things of that nature. So I'll read this right here. It says, let's get one thing straight. Budget is not a bad word, and yet so many of us shy away from building our own budget for a number of reasons. It's too boring, too restrictive, too complicated, and too pointless. That's a problem because the budgeting is perhaps the single most important tool you have when it comes to managing your personal finance. So it says right there, even though you think, this is a headache trying to think about all this stuff and put it into how I'm going to spend it. And one of the tools I use in my personal life is I would use an Excel spreadsheet, and I would do it by month. And then I will put all my bills on there. I will put, all the stuff I need, gas, food, clothes, how much you spend on that stuff. Things like your lights, your electric that you pay for, anything else that you have going on, your car notes, your daycare bills if you have them, things of that nature. So you want to calculate all the stuff you spend. As we go down a little bit here, it tells you right here, track your cash flow. So according to Credit Karma, it says sit down and write out how much you have coming in each month, as well as set costs going out. So that's what we was talking about, like your rent, cell phone bill, student loan payments, transportation costs, utilities, things of that nature. You want to write all that out. And then, you know, you want to set up like an automatic contribution, which is setting up weekly deposits, or most people got direct deposit nowadays. So you would have all your cash flow coming in, you would direct deposit that to whatever account you want to manage that out of, whether that's going into your savings or your checking account. And then how often you're going to get those payments, or how often you're going to receive that cash flow. And then the third thing there is stick to it, stick to your plan. So once you formulate a plan and you track that and you tracking your budget, then you want to stick to it. And that's that discipline piece that we were just talking about at the beginning of the show. If you don't have the discipline to say, I'm only gonna, after all my bills are paid and I put my money in savings, then I'm only gonna give myself X amount of dollars to spend. And if you stick to that plan, you don't want to be dipping your hand back into your savings and putting it with your spending money because you didn't have enough that particular time to get that item. So you want to stick to your plan that you set for yourself. And check this out right here. I like that. If you do get off track, don't quit budgeting. Simply try something new until you find a system that works well for you. So even if you get off track, you know, maybe you set your limits too high, or maybe you set your limits too low. You know, you're not putting enough money in the savings, or you're putting too much money in the savings and not giving yourself enough money to spend on the things that you may want, or you spending too much on the things that you want that you're not giving yourself enough money to put towards your bills or to put towards your savings.
Yeah, keep it in line if you feeling like you're gonna get off track. Because if you feeling like you're gonna get off track of it, then you're gonna be unhealthy.
In a bunch of different ways too, even though I know I can't afford it, you know. And,
Man, I think that's the majority of America though.
yeah.
You know,
Trying,
because people don't understand really the difference between afford and obtain. So most people think if they can obtain it, that means that they can afford it.
right.
You know,
It's like that house. I'm trying to buy that house. You can afford a monthly mortgage.
now
And
you can obtain a monthly
I
mortgage.
mean, you can obtain a monthly mortgage, but
Right?
can you afford the house?
Can you afford the home?
The home, it comes with all this other stuff, maintenance. You gotta think about that. The health, the
Taxes,
taxes, the insurances.
insurances.
You know, the new roof, the heater went out. Oh, what you gonna do about that?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
better buy new construction first. or have your money long enough when you go in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's the thing too. Like people don't have no money. I said, and that was something like when I bought my house. That was something that was interesting to me because I was like, man, you could have people have an insurance deductible for their vehicles, and that's like $500 or $1,000. Some people set that, and I was like, man, I've seen situations where people um will call and have needed to borrow a couple dollars to get them to that deductible, and I'm like, bruh, my homeowner's insurance deductible is north of $5,000. So I'm like, why in the world would I ever not have that to actually like to think that I'm gonna put that burden on somebody else calling them? And I know the majority of people when they buy a house, they don't get told none of that. Everybody's so happy with just, oh, I'm about to get a house, I'm gonna be a homeowner, I'm this, I'm that, all of this foolishness. And it's like you don't know about that new tax bill you get the next year where it'll make your mortgage go up $500, $600, $700 a month
Right.
just to keep the roof. You know what I'm saying? Or your insurance, like your just so you can get your insurance in case something happened. You have a deductible. That's not cheap. That's not money you want to be trying to borrow from somebody or going to go get a loan from. You need to have that. And you need to have that where the rest of your life is in shape enough where you don't have to touch that money.
Right.
You know, your down payment on your home should not be all the money that you had saved up.
Right.
And then you move in your house and you trying to buy stuff on credit cards.
Exactly.
You that person couldn't afford that house. That person could obtain a house, but they couldn't afford the house. So that means, and we're not talking about furnishing because you could have furnitures if you want it. All right. But what we talking about is like when all your money gone, like your whole life savings, all your cash. If all I saved up was $40,000 or $50,000, and that's all I ever saved up, okay, and cash, like that's the biggest amount of cash that I ever had in my life. I'm not taking that money and putting that all into a house.
Right.
No way.
You was discussing those deductibles, right? And I was just thinking while you were saying that, like in my head, like, yeah, you should have enough money for every deductible you have in cash as part of that savings plan. You know,
Part of that emergency fund.
the emergency fund should be all of that. Boom. And
Yeah.
then that for a few months. I think it's recommended that you save uh 3 to 6 months worth of emergency savings.
If you had all your deductibles, you should have those. If you got a $500 auto deductible, you should have an account with that $500 in there. If you got a $5,000 insurance deductible for something, if you got, except for your reoccurring things like if I pay life insurance and I pay my life insurance every single month, then it's already coming out of a budget.
Right.
It don't have to be over there in the safe in that safe.
Right.
All right. But those things stay fixed. Like those are fixed emergencies. So there's a different classification. It's a fixed emergency. So like what a fixed emergency is like that a car insurance deductible, a home insurance deductible. Um, let's say if I have a deductible because I have insurance on some of my maintenance stuff around the house, like I have a contract with the AC company. All right. So they can come out like that's fixed too, because that's a deductible. So
Right.
if they're gonna come out and fix, that's insurance. We was talking about having your hot water heater and all that stuff, right?
Right.
So you have an insurance contract on that too. So that way, if it come out, if something happened, okay, that's $2,500 that they come do whatever they're gonna do. You should have that money put to the side too. All right. That's not money that you need to come up with. So those are things, and it's a couple other things too, but those are things that we call fixed emergencies because the only way that the price going to change is if you negotiate a price change for the deductible dealing with the company that's going to provide the service for you in the emergency. So that's fixed. Now your emergency fund is, yes, that of which they say is like what, 6 months or something of
Yeah.
all your bills or something like that. And that's one of them things that just like varies from person to person. How expensive are you a month? Because everybody's level of responsibility is different, right?
Oh yeah.
But overall, everybody should have like, as much as you can have. I could tell a person to have 6 months of but then I could say have 12. Um, I can't really like they always go with this 3 to 6 thing, but How we know 3 gonna be enough, and then what is gonna change in those 3 months?
Right. It's fine. And here's some of the information for y'all who are following along. You can I'm gonna leave it posted right here so you can see what's going on. And this is just taking your savings to the next level with the right investment is what that was talking about. And we kind of hit on some of those notes where you can the 3 to 6 months or looking even further past that to set your emergency savings goals. And then we had those fixed emergency savings goals as well. So once you set up your emergency savings, then it says from there you can create other specific goals you want to fund and simply aim to save a small percentage of your income for future. You can start with just 1% and incrementally raise that rate over time to save more. So you will definitely set yourself a different goal that you wanted to save for, or a goal that you wanted to reach to save a certain amount. I see what they're saying, but my goal would be to continue saving, right? Because I don't ever want to say I'm gonna save $10,000. Then once you reach $10,000, then what? Then you gotta set another goal. So
Yes.
you
Yes, you do.
could do
Yes,
some.
because you're gonna say I'm gonna get to 10. Then you say, you know what? Yeah, I could do 15. Now I could do 20. Now I could do 30. Yes, you just
Yeah,
you keep resetting and keep going higher.
keep going higher.
You keep going higher. Yes.
Somebody like me, my savings is infinite. Like I just want to see that number keep going up. See that number keep
Yes.
going up. That going up. We reaching where we gotta go. Things like the stock market and stuff like that, mutual funds and bonds and stuff like that have an annual return rate at least 10%. So
They do. Nah.
that's what they like to say.
It's not a big downside to have a lot of cash sitting around. And the reason why I'm going to say that there's not, while I disagree with this Credit Karma saying this part right here, is because if you have cash, then you can take advantage of things when opportunities present themselves. All right. The emergency savings, you don't touch that. You know what I'm saying? The savings account it ain't even about having money, making money. It's because you need to have some cash. You need to have the cash because let's say housing goes really, really bad. The housing market goes really, really bad. All right. And you see stuff that goes like on crazy sale, like it's foreclosures, it's auctions, it's people who can't tax lien sales. Them things be like 8,000, 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, 25, 30,000. If you got cash, you don't have to try to loan, you don't have to try to get a loan to get the money. If you have, I don't know what Credit Karma considers having a lot of cash sitting around. But to me, having 40, 50 grand cash in the bank is not a lot of money to have in the bank. You can have that up to 250,000 that's FDIC insured. That's the most I would have cash in any bank account, in any single bank account. All right. But having 40, 50 grand sitting around cash, that's cool. The thing is when you have that, then you should have, maybe 2 or 3 times that in other working investments, just because you should. I wouldn't recommend having $250,000 just unless you got it like that, unless you to the point where you can have 250 cash is just you know, your savings cash to where, if I need to go access something, if I want to go buy a brand new anything, I don't even have to finance it. I can just go and buy it cash. If I want to make a new investment, like we was just talking about, where, like Mayday was saying, even if you wanted to go get that Sprinter van and you just wanted to take the money and start a business, like Then you have your own startup capital. You're not looking for no capital from nobody else or need somebody else to believe in your idea for you to feel like that you can't, get out here and make it happen yourself. Plus you've prepared yourself and you have that cash land, that capital, you know, in that bank. You can invest in certain stuff like buying some land or something. If you see it like, oh, they just people, it's a tax auction and they, but they like, you can get it right now. And that day you saw it at 15,000, 30, 40 acres. And you saw that, 15,000 that day, but you needed to go and get a loan somewhere or had to transfer money from this place and that place. You ain't just have it where you could go to the bank, get a cashier's check and come back and do what you want to do.
Right.
So, so that's why I recommend having some cash too. We need to do all that. That's part of that solid foundation, that financial foundation that
Right.
you need cash too. It's not just,
It's
it's
not
not
all
just,
hard investments.
yeah, your dollar store trip costs you 25 cents from every other dollar now. Take your $1 and go invest it where? Where can you get a 25% return at? Anywhere. I wait. You can't get it in rental property. You can't get it in the stock market. There is no 25% year over year return on investment from nowhere. In the dollar store right now is 25% more. So I'm not um I'm not in any delusion about the things that when we hear about, oh yeah, the markets, the rates and the inflation is this and core,
Yeah.
just to shop at that dollar store. So how? You still gonna need, even if I go and take $5 and I put them in 5 different places, yeah, it say I'm getting 25%. But I'm still, every time I take one of them dollars, I still got to come up with another 20 cents from that dollar. So that leaves me what, 75 cents to start with to get 5% on the next dollar behind that one. That's a lose-lose every single time. People just can't add. So even if I bought an investment, okay, and I got compound interest over all them years, I still can't go buy the same car. The compound, so I invested the $3,000 and over, I don't know, 30 years, it turned into 50 grand. I still can't go buy the amount of stuff that I would have bought for 50 grand when I had that three, now that I got the 50.
Right. It's all gonna cost more.
It costs more. So I'm gonna be able to buy less stuff, even with 50 grand. But I'm gonna feel like I got more because it's 50 and it's not three.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where we all at with it. That's where people be saying I'm, whatever they want to say about, but that's what I know that people don't know. That is the it right there. You know what I'm saying? You can't really do that everywhere. So these things that we invest in is just to preserve our ability to be able to keep spending money, to keep it honest. You know what I'm saying? It's just that when you save your money, you have a little bit more to spend every now and then,
Right.
because you ain't in such a rush to spend it.
Yeah, you definitely not in a rush to spend it. Even when you get savings and you get that savings up to those higher dollar amounts, in the tens and thousands and stuff like that. You don't want to see that number go down, not for real.
Look, bro, you don't even have a choice. I'm gonna tell you, in 2008, when we had the first housing bubble, man, I had lines of credit that they just cut, and I ain't had no choice.
Right.
Like I had open lines of credit then, and they just cut them. You know, even the ones that I was in good standing on, even the ones that I had, like, you know, paying on time, you know, paying back what I took on time, they still just cut it.
Right.
So, you know, that's why I'm just like, man, like we really have to, you know, I'm not, and I say this to tell people, I don't tell people don't invest. We need to invest in these things. Um, but we have to understand, like, that thing called diversification is important, because you can't have all your eggs in one basket. And if you have all your eggs in one basket, then what's gonna happen is if something happened to that basket, then you know you're gonna be short.
Diversification, you know, asset allocation, and how is this book is getting into like how to put one bucket of money into a different bucket of money based on his asset class. And
Yeah, get more done, be more effective, and keep your money together. Because at the end of the day, like, that's what everybody wants, to be able to just have access to, you know, to kind of do the stuff that they want to do when they feel like doing it.
right,
That's what I really think that whole financial freedom thing is about. I think it's really just about having enough money to do what you want to do when you feel like doing it.
when you feel like doing it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep, that's what we're trying to go. That's what we're gonna take. We trying to take everybody with us. So as we go, we just gonna give y'all this info.
Credit card debt, on the other hand, is a type of bad debt, in the sense that it doesn't allow you to build an asset. It's just money you need to repay with interest. That's horrible. This is absolutely not true. Credit card debt is not bad debt. Okay. And it can be, and credit card debt can be an asset. It's how you taught,
How you use the tool,
as a tool. I'm gonna say available credit.
available credit. Yeah.
Okay. And that's what it is to me. It's an asset. Limit on your credit card. All right. At least half of that is cash. At least half of that you can go get a cash advance.
Right.
So that doesn't mean you have to go and take the cash advance. I wouldn't even recommend somebody go take the cash advance to buy anything
Right.
that wasn't a guaranteed sure shot. How to use it as an asset. If it's an emergency and you can't get the cash, well, you have a credit card now with a substantial amount of purchasing power, that if you needed to go and get emergency anything, you could go get it. So how is that not an asset? That's an asset. It's just maybe an emergency asset. If you don't have the discipline to build your credit and manage it as an asset, then yeah, it is going to be bad debt. It is
Right.
going to be just money you need to repay with interest, because that's how you're treating it. You know, but if what I was saying is something that could be examined and be like, oh, could I possibly treat it like that? Then hey, you might be able to turn it to an asset.
Yeah, you gotta have a means to pay it back if you're gonna borrow against it, and that's what any line of credit that you plan to use, or you take that credit card and buy that property, like you were saying. Part of your plan, everything should have a plan and strategize, and that's part of that budget piece, right? That's the
Absolutely.
planned spending, right? So you should have a plan to use this to do that and to put it back. You gotta have a full plan, not just a half-ass plan. You know, people just gotta understand debt a little bit better. You know, like you were saying, they calling it debt, but we look at it as available credit. So, you know, debt sometimes is used or viewed as bad, and that's what Credit Karma did here. They're using it as bad, but that is, you know, the amount of available credit you have versus your debt. We talk, you want to have that available credit go up and that debt to go down, but you're still in overall in some type of debt, right? But you can use it as an asset, like you were saying. So you just got to change the way your point of view of how you view credit use, and that's how I view it anyway. So do all this on an Excel spreadsheet. You can have everything one-stop shop. You can have your budget on one tab with everything that's on there, and you can have your old debts or whatever on another tab. You can have your bills on one tab. You can have your emergency fund on a different tab. You can have your whole portfolio right there in your face for you to view and keep track of, and then you can stay organized and prioritize your debts, and with the say you had a high balance on one credit card, right? You got that high balance, but you still got good credit. You can actually open another line of credit and roll some of that balance over to a zero interest credit card balance, so you're not paying the interest from the old balance. And you can just pay that debt.
You can. I tell people don't do it. Don't do it. Because when we do it, we just start doing it. And when does it stop? When do you stop? I'm gonna tell you something. I've rolled over debt, man, for probably about 9 years. And I'm telling you, nothing is better than just not having the debt at all. Not that what Mayday was saying isn't a practice. What Mayday is suggesting isn't a practice. It is a practice, and it can be good if you don't get into a habit. If a person don't get into a habit of keep on doing that. Right. But if you can do it, once and say okay, and then have the discipline to say okay, I know that I have that as a resource. Now that's a resource. And sometimes these things it's like, well, dang, well, why have these resources if I ain't gonna do them? Because resources aren't to be used up.
Right.
So that's why I kind of recommend people don't do it if you can, pay off what you have. If you say, you know what, I done ran it up, let me just pay it off. Be disciplined. Well, remember we was talking about cut it up and put it in an envelope, that way you can't swipe it. If you have to discipline yourself like that, try that, but pay it off, because if you don't pay it off, and we just go into that cycle of to just say, you know what, for one, I'm not going to live beyond my means. Like this, that is the biggest key. Like we talking about the budget.
Yeah,
man, the budget is so key, because this only happens when people live beyond their means. I know it for a fact. I'm spending more than I make. That's it. I can't wait to get it. I have to get it now.
Gotta get it now.
I don't have to have. I know what I'm not able to access by not having cash, though. But because we just was talking about it earlier, like if you have some capital, then yes, you can. It gives you an advantage to access things. You can go buy treasuries, you can go buy gold, you can go buy stocks, you can go buy land, you can go buy whatever you want. You got some cash. If it's a cash price for it and you have enough, you can go get it. You don't have to borrow the money. So, and understanding that when you don't have it, then you should know what you don't have access to at those particular points. So you could be rebuilding your cash, your capital, so that way you can go and participate And sometimes you miss stuff along the way. Like,
yeah, that's pretty much it. Cause we kind of talked about them in reverse, but we had some things there we talked about that hopefully the viewers can use. We can use ourselves, But there are your 3 topics right there on how to build that financial foundation. Always understand your cash flow, and build that budget where you can physically see where your cash is flowing from and how much you have. That way you can distribute it to pay your bills and create your savings plan and pay down on your debts that you have and set some goals for yourself so that you can become more financial free to be able to do what you want to do with your funds, once you start building on this foundation, once you set it, And you can start this stuff young. Teach your kids, get to doing it. You ain't got to believe me. You can do it and see if it works. Get that savings going. I would start with that. I would start with building my cash flow budget, seeing where everything's at, how much I'm bringing in, and then building that emergency savings fund with those deductibles that we talked about, that fixed, deductibles, calculate all those deductibles, save that pot of money up. So when that stuff happens, you don't have to scramble for that cash. It's set. It's right there. Boom. You go get your car fixed. You go get your water heater. Get to do water heater with it, maintenance or whatever. So
I wanted to play this video real quick so we could see, get your take on some of the stuff this brother was saying.
But guess what? If you're living on more than what you make, if you don't have an emergency fund, if you're up to your eyeballs in credit card debt, if you got car loans that are upside down, you owe more than it's worth, and you're carrying this big old gigantic car payment, and at the end of the month, you gotta pick between, do I pay the mortgage, do I pay the rent, do I buy groceries, or do I pay this? That is financial poverty, guys.
My man said that's financial poverty.
Jesus Christ.
What you
I was
think?
sitting over here like, he was shooting them shots.
What you think? Financial poverty. Shout out to Richard Fame, man. If y'all don't know Richard Fame, man, on YouTube, I check out his channel. You know what I'm saying? I am a subscriber, and I don't 100%, with everything, but when you right, man, you right. So I just wanted to, sometimes people say that when I'm saying stuff like that to them in my personal life, they telling me, man, all you think about is money and you this and you that with money, like it's negative, and I'm just like, bro, I'm not the only person who knows that we didn't get properly educated about this money thing, and you comfortable with struggling and being poor, you know what I'm saying? Mindset and everything. Like,
We've been talking about that for a while. Most time we talk, we chopping it up, about stuff like this, and he just hit home with that, like I've been there. That check the what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna rob Peter to pay Paul. I'm gonna take out this hand and I'm gonna just miss that car note because they ain't gonna take that car right away, and I'm gonna pay off this mortgage or this rent, and then I make up that car note some kind of way. I've been there before, and that's because we don't have that education and we don't put these good practices to use, and he right about that. A lot of people gonna be like that. A lot of people like that now. So, that's why we here, bro. This is what motivate me to do this show, because I want people to have some type of knowledge or be able to go and reference, bowls on the table and say, like, I heard that somewhere before. Let me go check out what these boys talking about. Oh yeah. They did put up how you can fix this, how you can manage your credit, how you can what a FICO score is, and all that different stuff. You know,
Some financial fundamentals, man. It seemed like a lot of people haven't got the fundamentals, you know, and that's the reason why, like why that's what we chose as the slogan, because it's like it's fundamental stuff that that I see a lot of people just haven't got. It's not even, everybody wants the magical investment that's gonna make them a billionaire overnight. And I'm like, bro, you can't even manage $500.
right?
So how you really think you're gonna be able to manage $500 million and you can't even manage $500? Like if you can't keep $500, you can't make a budget, structure your life, discipline yourself to keep $500, then how you gonna keep $500,000 if you ever get it?
Right.
How?
You ain't gonna be spending it up if
You spending.
you're gonna be spending it up.
You can't keep 500.
You don't know where to put it. You don't know about these taxes, or these tax safe vehicles. There's things out here. These we can teach, or not teach, but we can all view together and learn. But yeah, you can't. You're gonna spend that up. Like people that win that freaking, what did he win, about 400 million? That guy.
I don't know. Somebody hit
the lotto, won that 400 million.
the new one, the one that was just up.
Yeah, if you
God bless him.
God bless him, but boy, I tell you what, he'll be broken by a couple months if he don't.
Let's not wish that on him, but
what I'm saying, like,
but it's probably true.
In the scenario that we talking about, that guy that can't manage that $500 just won 400 mil. That's gonna be all them sharks gonna come get that money.
Yeah.
If you don't get you a financial advisor and start learning about these finances, putting that stuff.
Let me tell you something. The financial advisor is too late.
Yeah,
it's too late.
Because you still gotta have the bad practices. You gotta practice the good stuff, man. You gotta learn the good.
They're gonna be fighting.
The basics.
They're gonna be tug of war, and it's gonna be like, I got all the money. Why I need to pay you to tell me what to do with my money?
Because you don't know what to do with it.
The brother was dropping some brother was dropping some jewels.
Did you not hear me? I was 26 years old, college graduate, played 3 years in the NFL, and I was still financially in poverty.
Brother said he was in college, played 3 years in the NFL, still ain't know nothing about no money.
Shoot. I'm from South Florida, man. I watched some boys made it to the NFL. I know. Come back to Lauderdale, broke. In that same scenario, man. And then they still didn't. Some of them learned, some of them didn't learn. Or somebody went down there and spent up his little money, started scheming out the NBA medical policies and stuff. Keon Doolin. Got caught up in doing that and not being good financial stewards of their money, man.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I know nowadays we can get the information. It was a little bit more difficult to get the information back in the day because we didn't have the internet. So so now I'm kind of like, when people say, well, I don't know something, and I'm just like, well, have you at least Googled it? Like, at least tried to Google it just to start. That don't mean you're gonna be all knowing or the all knowable, the all knowable, but it's gonna give you a start. It's gonna give you a starting point. Allow your research to begin. How far you take it, it's up to you how much you want to learn about it.
Right.
So, definitely when it comes to these financial fundamentals, that's all we try and do is introduce some perspectives give y'all some paths to where you can go access this information, because you see we get this stuff right offline too. We getting it offline, so you can get it right offline.
Right.
And then we sprinkle in, you know, our opinions, personal experiences. That's it.
That's it. We all gonna be financial stewards of our money. We get it right here on the DB Chef TV. Those on the table.
Bows on the table.